I just had a very interesting conversation with a woman who was walking by, and we talked about all sorts of stuff, about where we're from, and anxiety, and healing, and so forth. And this conversation spontaneously arose. Somehow we just started talking. Similarly, I was at the beach 2 months ago in Miami on Friday the 13th, and I spoke with a guy. He was just there, and it was nighttime, no one else was there, and I just was looking at the ocean, and I was talking to God, actually, and I said, I'll follow your command. I repent, I recant for my fear. I will do what you tell me. And there's this guy that was standing there as well, who I didn't see until afterwards. And as I was leaving, I went up to him. I said, "Excuse me, what brings you here?" He says, I think he just is like, "Oh, I can't believe you just asked me that." And then we talked for a solid hour about all sorts of stuff. I was like, "Oh man, I gotta go back. My family's waiting for me." And he didn't have his phone with him, and but we really connected and exchanged our histories and everything. And he said that when he's looking out at the ocean, he feels as if he's breathing the air of the people across the ocean. He says, "Europe is this way, Africa is this way, and I'm breathing the air." And then what I thought, there's this beautiful line in The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, in which Merry and Pippin, these two characters, they're just looking at the sunset or the sunrise and not knowing if Frodo is alive. But little did they know, this is in the writing, little did they know that across the way, Frodo was looking at the same sunset. Now, Eckhart Tolle writes about how Carl Jung wrote about how when you're attuned in some spiritual manner, things happen for an acausal reason. Acausal meaning not readily apparent to your logical mind. There's no logical basis for it, but two people happen to be in the same place and then they connect, or whatever. There's a synchronicity that occurs that you couldn't have planned or plotted or even known about. See, prior to these encounters, I had not known either of these people, but upon further engagement, we exchange. And then what you realize as well is that no matter what they may look like, no matter how they may appear, perceive to you, be perceived by you, which is really a concoction of your mind. You may be perceiving instinctual things off of them, and then your mind is going to create all sorts of associations and judgments about it. But beyond all of that, what's occurring within a person is they're a human with a complete history, a complete life story, accumulated perceptions, experiences. There's life within them, the same life that's within you. It's just living out this character, living out this person. And it's a very beautiful thing when you're able to actually connect with somebody on that level. And so it happened. So it happened that way. I bring it up because I think it's relevant. I think it's relevant to know that whatever you think of somebody, it's not fully the reality. As Eckhart Tolle says, you're relating with the creation of your own mind. And the more you start to categorize people, the further you get away from the truth, in a sense. That being said, some categorizations are good. It helps you understand the lay of the land. It helps you analyze what's occurring within that person more readily. It can explain good things to you about them that you may want to engage with. It could illustrate bad things about them that are characteristic in other people as well. So in that respect, categorization can be helpful. But you have to know that beyond all categorizations, there's more. There's always more. And then the way you're looking at their categorizations ultimately ends up coming back to how you're thinking about it, how your mind is perceiving it. So it's always important to look inwards when you're look inwards in general, and then look outwards to other people. Look inwards to see what it is about yourself that's creating the situations around you, creating the type of perceptions that people have of you, creating the reactions you're getting. And that's not to say to become overly analytical, not to be overly mental, not to not operate on instinct. You should operate on instinct. It's not to say to become self-flagellating and to be self-deprecating and always think everything is your fault, because that's also an ego thing, actually, to just be focused on yourself in a sense, and make an identity out of it. But what I'm saying is not to look at yourself and make an identity out of it and perpetuate that ego going forward. Is to say to look within yourself and look at yourself, actually observe yourself, actually observe what's occurring, what's happening within you at a very micro emotional level, and then see how that's ended up creating a world within you, this world which is the self, so to say, the small s self, the ego self. And ego not being used in the term of being arrogant or conceited, but meaning to be your false self-image, your conception of who your character is, and then the need to perpetuate that character's interests and so forth. So being able to look beyond that actually allows wisdom and good relationships to then occur, and it allows you to stand for the truth of who you really are. And then that actually becomes your real character. Your real character, which is not concocted at the level of a small mind, but concocted at a deeper level with divine intelligence radiating through it. That allows you to put down your biases and then assess things with accuracy and then make your choices. That allows and invites real intelligence to infuse within you and allow deeper solutions and more synchronistic and acausal interactions and things to occur. That allows the divine path to actually emerge within you. And it can be scary to let go of your egoic conceptual self. I know personally, and I know in other people as well. And the reason is because you take so much safety and so much refuge within it. It is the protection against the things that you fear. But chances are that protection from the things you fear may be the very thing to fear to begin with, or the very thing that is the cause of the problems. As FDR said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Now, the way to get rid of the ego is not to take its preferences and do the opposite. This is about elevating. This is about elevating and then using all the knowledge that you have, the full body, the sum total of all your experience and wisdom, to then make decisions. A lot of people think that, let's say, they think being materialistic is egoistic. They then go to the forest and then they try to become spiritual, so to say. But no ego, and then the same mental processes inside populate themselves as far as spiritual development is concerned. And it could be a step in the right direction, but it could also be a deeper deception. See, because you cannot in truth fake what's going on inside. You cannot in truth falsify your energetic charge, so to say, no matter what your words may say, no matter what your thoughts may be telling you. All of this is about looking very deeply inside and becoming your truest and realest and deepest self. And that's a good one. There's no doubt about that. It's simply, in whatever ways it's not optimal right now, it's been co-opted either by external forces or internal forces, whatever it may be. But you will live it undoubtedly until you're able to let it go. How do you let it go? Well, as Eckhart Tolle says, don't even try. Don't resist it. Move above it. That's something you can't mentally do. You can't mentally concoct transcendence. You can mentally concoct a counter ego to your current ego. You can mentally concoct doing the opposite of your bad habits. You can mentally concoct a lot of things, and generally speaking, they always end up failing or just creating the same monster in a different way. The transcendence comes from a deep, deep, deep immersion into your own experience, into your own understanding of what's occurring now, into your own moving beyond of the mind and perceiving things in a much more dynamic and beautiful way, And therein ends the incessant mental commentary, which is useless, not the stuff that's productive and actually useful, and which produces beautiful and amazing things. It ends the constant hankering for the future. It ends the constant denial of what's actually real. And it ends the constant concoctions of what's fictional. And these fictions are not good fictions. These are fearful fictions. They're worried fictions. They're horrible movies. They're disgusting tapes and records that keep playing over and over, that so much as they occur within your mind actually perceive and appear real. They appear more real than an actual movie which you're immersed in, because it's your own mind producing them. So simply be aware of your own mind, and then allow the magic to occur.